Okay. All right, guys, good morning. I'm so glad that you chose to spend a little bit of your afternoon with me today. I am Kelly Campbell. I am a partner and Chief Happiness Geek here at Rock City Digital. That is kind of like a fun title that we create, but really what that means is like mostly my role is like in sales technically, but we don't really have salespeople on our team. We really just have people who know about our services, are passionate about our services, and help other businesses navigate. So we do a lot of free workshops. If you're not familiar with Rock City Digital, like she said, we're a full service digital marketing agency, but one of our goals is primarily education. So that is what we do, is to educate any business at any stage to make sure that they have the information they need to make the best decisions for their marketing dollars. So all small, mid-sized businesses, like, your marketing dollars are super important. It is hard that you have to waste some money like just to see what works. So this is where our workshops come in. We want to make sure that you have all the information you need so that you're not wasting any of your precious marketing dollars. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get started.
You click this one part. You ain't doing it sticking up like buzzwood. You think you don't want to click it?
I see mine go to the top.
All right, guys.
Well,
I'll just ask that everybody goes ahead and mutes your mic before we get started.
no, I'm fine. Trying to keep you in attention.
If everybody can just go ahead and mute your mics before we get started, we are ready to go. So we are talking today about how to create a social media strategy. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about because it's one of the most common questions that I feel like we get is like, what do I post on social media? Most of us are on Facebook, right? Instagram. Like, we know how to use these platforms, but we don't really know how to make that work for our business. And if we do, we just don't do it consistently. And then at that point, you're just like, this post isn't good enough. You kind of feel defeated. So here's what we're going to do today. We are going to walk through how to create a social media strategy. Here's what we'll cover. We are going to do a short rundown of what a social media strategy is, questions that you can ask yourself to get started to create this, how to create your own custom strategy, what tools to use, and yes, they're free, and then how to access what's working. We want to see if you're keeping score. We need to make sure that whatever you're spending your time on is actually going to be. So some questions that you may ask yourself as you're going through this and thinking, okay, you are telling yourself these things about your own social media. What do I post? These questions you may have. What do I post? Nothing about business. Maybe you work in insurance. Maybe you sit in a cubicle all day and all you can think of is that whatever that you have to offer is just not necessarily interesting. How do I stay consistent? That is one of the top things that I hear businesses talk about and stress about is the consistency. Let's see. Everybody, one more time, if you will just mute your mics, that would be helpful. Okay, thanks, guys. All right, and then what do people even care about? Let's back up. How do I stay consistent? You barely have time to keep up with everything else in your business, plus things going on in your life. If you are parents, working parents, it's difficult by the time you get home at night and you're like, what in the world am I even going to post about? I know it's important, but how do I even stay consistent? And then what do people even care about? Sometimes I post and there's just crickets. No one engages. Nobody is really interested in what I post. So let's get started. We're going to answer all of these questions for you. And to start out, I would love if you guys kind of just tell me and everybody else who you are in the chat. You can open up the chat on the side If you would like to put in information about your business, specifically who you serve, where out in the state. If you are more so have a local audience, you're working towards a national audience. If you have a website you'd like people to check out, or a Facebook page or Instagram, like put all of that in the chat. Typically when we do workshops, it's a great opportunity to network as well. But since we're all virtual, we're just gonna have to network in the chat feature. So you can go ahead and put that in there. I'd like to go through those a little later, just check out some of your businesses. Hopefully I can use those as examples when we talk about social media strategy. If you do have any questions as we go through this, please, again, put those in the chat. There will be a 15-minute, at least, Q&A at the end, and I want to make sure that we cover all of those questions. I am notorious for personally having a question, forgetting my question by the end. So if you put those in the chat, hopefully we'll be able to go in and source those and answer those questions as they come up. Okay. So let's talk about what a social media strategy is. I know that coming into this, there are some people who have a lot of experience with social media marketing. Some people may just have a little, some people may have none. So we'll start from the basics of what this is. I would consider a social media strategy organized chaos. So basically it's just a plan of action that you create for yourself, for your business, to help you achieve whatever your goal is online. So whether that's educating clients, showing off your team. I know workforce is a huge part of business struggles right now. Social media can be a great tool for recruiting. I got 2 people in the waiting room. 1 second. Okay. So if you need help recruiting, we want to know that whatever your strategy is, it reflects your goals, but you have to know what your goal is first. So good questions to ask yourself before you get started. Who is my audience? So let's just say an example is your audience is moms. Whatever service you provide or product you provide, maybe it's for moms. So who do you want to reach? Are these working moms? Are these stay-at-home moms? Are these first-time moms? Moms of multiples? Are these, parents or mothers of kids who are going to college? Who exactly is this? So we want to get specific about who we're talking to, and then we want to get even more specific. Some people say, well, my business or my product or my service is for everybody. And that is true and can be true. But at your core, you know that you have people that you just really love doing business with. And so you really want to get specific about who your ideal client is. I know it's easy to say, well, this is my ideal client, but I also like working with XYZ. That's perfect. You can write these down. You can have multiple people that you really like to do business with. So we want to know, who is my audience? Who do I want to reach? And then what is my goal for social media? So your goal, again, and I want you to answer these questions for yourselves. If you have these written down, these questions down, really think about what your goal is. These goals can be more website visits. If you want to drive people to your website, that is something that's good to know. If you want more phone calls, if you want more messages or DMs, if you want more people to engage with your post, those are all great goals to have and to keep in mind. Goals can also be like recruiting new staff, or making your current staff feel appreciated, or having an online portfolio if your company is very visual. And you can also have multiple goals. For example, my sister owns a photo booth business. I'll use her as an example. She runs a very cool business where she has photo booths. She goes to weddings. So she is talking to brides. They are local brides. Her goal is to have brides visit the website and fill out a contact form, because if she were on the phone, she would be on the phone all day getting quotes. And then the content that she wants to, or the other goal would be to get contact forms. A secondary goal would also be to, I'll say, have her staff feel appreciated. This would actually really mean her brides. So she wants to thank brides for investing in their day and using her as a vendor. So that would be another goal, is to show off her brides. She also needs helpers during her busy season, and that's a great way to recruit, is via social media. So she has several goals.
No, because I've been on the phone trying to catch up with all the stuff, emails and stuff that I missed while I was at the dealership this morning. I literally just got to talking.
I'm gonna have you guys mute your mics one more time. Let's see if I can go in and do that. All right, okay, got it done now. Okay, so then we also want to know what kind of content that we want to post. So this can be anything from the media that you use, photos, graphics, videos, links to other places. This can also be what kind of tone that you want to use too. Do you want to be funny or educational or inspirational? This is going to depend on, you know, your brand. This is also going to depend on what your audience likes as well and what they find value in. If you're willing to get in front of the camera, which I highly recommend doing, to post videos or photos of yourself, of your clients, that's huge too. So think about these questions before you start, because this is going to be a really good base for your content. So why do you need a social media strategy? There are so many reasons, but we're really going to talk about two main ones. Having a strategy is going to help you send the right message, and it's also going to help you connect with the right audience. So if you are, there was a great marketer once said, if you are talking to everyone, you are talking to no one. So you don't have to be super controversial or in your face, but one thing that we do want is to make sure that we are sharing the right message to the right people. When people are looking on social media, and you guys know this as consumers, when you're looking on social media, you're at the very top of that sales funnel, right? Like, people are just checking you out. Maybe they just discovered you for the very first time. They're not necessarily ready to buy. But what you need to do is to make sure that when people find you and find your content, they know they're in the right place because they found a company that they want to do business with. So how do you create a social media strategy? We have 3 helpful steps. There, again, are more, but this will help you get a really good baseline of how to get started. So the first one is going to be to define your brand and define your message. This kind of goes back to making sure we're talking to the right people about the right message. But as soon as you can get, or the sooner you can get specific about what your brand is or isn't and the message that you want to get across, the easier the rest of this is. The second part is to create buckets of content. So if we're talking about buckets of content, this can mean anything from educational posts. So we know that we, again, going to use my sister's company. She owns a photo booth. Educational posts, educating the brides or the consumers about the services that you provide, or how to make it, how to make their life easier. So we can use education as a bucket. We could use humor. We could also use faces, showing off actual people. You can use graphics. So you want to create your buckets of content to help you do what we call batch work. This is going to go into the consistency part of things as well. We need to create buckets. And then you're also going to assess what is working. So this is, again, going to look at your keep score, do more, what I like to think of it as. But we need to know that whatever you're spending your time on to create, it's actually working. And so we're going to take a look at Facebook Insights as well, so that we have an opportunity to, you know, really dig in and make sure that what you're spending your time on is going to be fruitful. So defining your brand and message. What do you want your message to convey? What do you want people to know about you? And what is your brand? So one thing that I see people get confused a lot is that your brand is not your personal brand. Unless it is, unless the product is you or the service is you. But keep in mind that your personal brand and your company's brand are very different. These are not necessarily the same things. So define what your brand is. Personally, for me, I like to watch game shows and I like to eat Jelly Bellies and I'm a working mom. That isn't necessarily Rock City Digital's brand. I fall in line with a lot of the same values, but these are very, very different things. And so making sure that your personal brand is separate from your company's brand is important. You can make a list of adjectives that you feel like your brand is, and maybe even some that your brand isn't. But if you think that your brand is more funny, if it's more refined, be sarcastic or edgy. Wendy's is a great example of that. Duolingo, if you guys are familiar with the language platform, there are so many brands that have trended more towards that way now, a little bit more outside the box. You want to be educational, informal, casual, conversational. Those last three, I would recommend maybe diving a little deeper into those. A lot of people are finding more relatable, more brands relatable when they are more casual and conversational. So define your brand and your message. What do you want your message to convey? And then we want to talk about defining our content buckets. So these content buckets are the categories that you're going to create for your business. It's going to help you with your boundaries and your guidelines when it comes to figuring out what to post. So let's just say it's 9 o'clock, you are in bed and you're like, man, I really haven't posted on Facebook in a week. I've got to do it. If you have your buckets of content, it should be hopefully easier for you to take a look at those and say, oh, I did want to post about so-and-so's third work anniversary. I know that mine needed to be a little bit more, I know I want to appreciate my clients or appreciate my employees. I need to go ahead and get on that. So content bucket examples would be your company story, how and why you got started, any behind the scenes of your workday, testimonials from clients, products. You can use a call to action to buy now. We do want to make sure that that's there too. Any of your favorite projects that you've done, you've taken on, or what we call user-generated content, UGC is what some people will call it. If someone has actually taken a photo at your place of business or of your product, it is good. That is good to go. That's good content. You can ask them if you can use that and then absolutely repost that to Facebook, repost that to Instagram, and give the actual creator credit if you'd like. But I'm sure you've seen this a lot, but you can actually use the user-generated content. Then we're going to assess what's working. So we want to check your Facebook insights, your Instagram analytics, and see what didn't perform well. You want to do less of that and see what did perform well, and you're going to want to do more of that, of course. So I took a screen grab of what Facebook analytics look like. If you guys have not been in on the backside of your Facebook or your Instagram, I highly, highly recommend that you do that. Basically, what we're looking at, if you go to your settings, you can go to your insights. Facebook will let you know your paid reach. So if you create these buckets of content and you actually go in and for 1 week or 2 weeks and follow a social media strategy, you should be able to go into your insights, take a look at what's working, and from there you can see the actual results of things improving and going up. You can track this week over week. You can track it month over month, see how many people were actually reached. So a lot of people get confused with those numbers. There's like reach, impression, engagement. Your reach is how many people actually were served this post. So hey, 3,000 eyes on your brand is not too bad. So let's get into creating your social media strategy. I see that for some reason this Zoom link is giving me a countdown timer. So we'll go through this and then get started on the Q&A section. But this is basically what it looks like visually, okay? So this isn't overly complicated. It literally looks like a calendar. So you're going to want to draw out a calendar, and this is going to actually help you work 30 days in advance. You could sit down, create this calendar, fill in some spaces. Remember, I talked about organized chaos, just kind of place it where you like. Whenever you have this calendar filled out with your media, for example, your photo, video, graphic, link, whatever you want to put, you can actually go in, put these randomly on whatever day that you think you'd like to post. So let's go ahead and work for December. You can fill it in with whatever holidays that you know are coming up too. And then you can work towards creating that content. So if you know that you need a graphic on a Friday, maybe a graphic for Christmas, a graphic for New Year's, for example, you can go ahead and like knock that out. You've got that. Just go in and create those. If you know that you need 6 photos for the entire month, go ahead and start snapping photos. If you know that you need a few videos, sit down one day, maybe take an hour, and just go ahead and get those videos knocked out. They don't have to be high quality. We have a camera in our pocket all the time with iPhones. We want to make sure that you're using exactly what you have. You're not having to spend any money. So you can go from posting once a month, maybe that inconsistency, to literally posting 12, 15 times a month just by sitting down and doing a little bit of work on the front end, what we call this batch work. So again, if you know that your goal on social media is to share behind the scenes of your work day, perfect. We want to share behind the scenes video on a Tuesday. Then maybe we'll come down here to this Thursday and post another photo of behind the scenes at work. This could be a company birthday party. This could be you actually making something with your hands. So you can use these content buckets, and you're going to match them with different media types, and you're just going to fill out your calendar. So let's talk about what apps you can use to do all of these things. I'm going to recommend a few to you now. I'm going to go ahead and write these down. These are just my favorite. The first one is Canva. I made this presentation on Canva. There's a paid version and a free version. I love both. Canva is C-A-N-V-A. It is a graphic designers for beginners, very beginners. There are templates. You can make free graphics on there all day, and they look great. For photos, of course, you guys have your iPhones or any other device that you have. You can absolutely use those for photos. To schedule all of this content out. So let's just say that you sit down and you don't even want to think about it. You want to plug all of this in a calendar that looks like this, and Facebook is going to post it, or Instagram, automatically because you've already set what day and what time it's going to post. You can use platforms called Buffer, B-U-F-F-E-R. There's also a platform called Planoly, P-L-A-N-O-L-Y. And these are websites or apps that you can download, and you can plug in your content, and you can take one day, upload your photos, upload your videos, upload your graphics on whatever day you want to post, and you're done. It takes care of it for you. You don't even have to think about it. You don't have to sit up in bed at 9 o'clock at night and try to figure out what you want to post because it's already done. And I believe you can do that in a 30-day format, just like the calendar. Okay, guys, this is where you can find us. You can go to our website. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I'm Kelly, K-E-L-L-I, at rockcitydigital.com. Please send me an email. It looks like I may have to send out an email with some of the questions. Go ahead and get those answered if we run out of time today. But you can always email me at kelly@rockcitydigital.com. Like I said, our goal is to make working with us easy. We want to invite you to other workshops. I hope that this has been impactful for you today. And if there is any questions that I can answer for you, I'll go ahead and open the chat and check those out. And if you did enjoy anything about today and got anything out of it, please feel free to leave us a Google review. You can just Google Rock City Digital. We'll pop right up, and you can leave us a nice little Google review. We always love that. Okay, let's try to get into some of these questions really quick. Okay. I'm so happy so many of you guys are here today. Great, so many great businesses. Okay, does anybody have any questions before we hop off?
You have a couple questions. It says, would you suggest posting daily or spacing your posts out? And is it better to post every day or every other day?
So it depends on the content. If the content is good, we want to post, you can post every day, but it's not necessary. So I would say the minimum would be once a week, but at most you probably just want to post 4 or 5 times a week if the content is good. Definitely don't just post just to say you did it, just to say you posted every single day. But you can look at your analytics and check out and see if that's working for you. Like I said, minimum once a month, maximum 4 or 5 times a week is fine. Negative comments on Facebook ads. So a lot of that has to do with how you set up your Facebook ads, because it is real. They will find you. They are not very nice. Honestly, just hide those comments and block them if I'm being honest with you. You may not have to block them, but if you know that's not your client, we can send them on. You don't have to, don't feel bad about deleting comments or hiding comments if that's not your audience. Jade, we do, or we're working right now on building out a resource center on our website that's going to have more in-depth information on social media. And if anybody wants to send their email over or send me an email, I will let you guys know as soon as that is launched. Yes, Canva, Buffer, Planoly are all great apps to go to. We use those all the time. If you are using videos, you can also use iMovie. It is on your iPhone. It should already have come pre-downloaded, and you can use that to edit videos like the beginning and the end if you get off to like a rough start. So one of the questions was about video and the length of video and what is the optimal length time of a video. And the answer to that, I think this works the same way with attorneys, but it varies. But when it comes to video length, the length isn't quite as important as is just the fact that it's a video. So Facebook and Instagram, their jobs, and this sounds kind of crazy, but it's the truth. Facebook and Instagram are in business for your attention. So the longer that you have this in your hand and that you are scrolling on their app, the better, right? So they want to hold your attention for as long as possible. So what happens when you post a video or on Instagram or Facebook is that your scroll goes from like half a second of viewing whatever you're looking at to now you're engaged for maybe even it's 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So you're staying on the app longer when you're watching videos. So what Facebook and Instagram like about that is that you're on the app longer. That's their whole goal. And so think about it this way: when you're posting a video, you are making Instagram and Facebook very happy, because then your users are going to be on there for longer. So the video length isn't as quite as important as just the fact that you're doing videos. Used to what we call like long form videos, 2, 3, 7, 10 minutes. Did pretty well on Facebook, and that's not necessarily the case anymore. Another thing that Facebook and Instagram do is they look for cues from your audience to tell them what people need to see more of. So if you've posted a 7-minute video, but people are just scrolling pretty quickly and they're only watching 1 second of that, that's going to tell Facebook like, hey, this isn't really good content. Nobody really wants to watch this, and they'll show it to less people. If you post a 10-second video and people are watching it for 8, 9, 10 seconds, or maybe they've watched it again and again, that tells Facebook like, oh, this is really good content. We kept that person's attention for a long time. Let's show them more things like this. So again, all that to say, make sure that you're posting videos. If you use, maybe you post a video like on Instagram Reels, if you can just take that and post it over to Facebook too, like even better, you don't have to do double work. Facebook Live still does pretty good as long as you kind of have the format correct and it's interesting and engaging to watch. I wouldn't necessarily post any video over like probably 4 minutes unless it is some sort of like very inspirational interview and it is a celebrity in this interview with you. I would really try to keep those short form videos more so in the forefront of your plan. And the cool thing about that too is if you make a short form video, we'll use Jade's business, for example, she's a professional makeup artist, and you say, hey, here are 3 things that your makeup artist wants you to know before your big day. And you can turn that into a graphic and use 3 tips. You can turn that into a short form video where you can just talk about like, here are 3 things your makeup artist wants you to know. Number 1, this. Number 2, this. So you can take one topic and turn it into many different things. If you wanted, you could even create a blog post on your website that says what your makeup artist wants you to know, and then you can share that blog post on your Facebook. So now you've got a graphic, a video, and a blog post, all about the same thing, but just in different ways, and people can consume that in different ways. Maybe people want to watch, maybe they want to read, maybe they just want to scroll through. What else? What other questions do you guys have?
I have a question, Kelly, and this is more on the video line. So I'm getting a little bit more into TikToks. How do you feel about utilizing TikTok? And I know you mentioned Instagram, but I would say like the algorithm is very weird. You only get to see people that you pretty much are commenting on, or either there's only a select few people that you can see in your feed. How is it that you can grow really on Instagram? And I know it's like a serious deal where you have to follow back and comment and all that good stuff. Like in this day and age that it's so saturated, like how can you actually be successful on these sites without really, I mean, posting every single day, 5 posts a day, different times of the day? Can you give me that?
That is a great question. So one thing that I would recommend, so TikTok is great. Like it is one of those platforms, first of all, that I was like, I am not downloading another app. Like I fought it for too long. And then eventually we were all stuck in the house. Y'all remember that? And I was like, guess who's on TikTok now? And it is one of the coolest platforms. I think their algorithm is awesome.
Yes.
But it's really great for like national, like if you can have clients everywhere, it's not really great for like local brands necessarily. So if you want to grow like your local like client base in Little Rock, one thing that you can do for Instagram, for example, is pay attention to what Instagram is like asking you to view. So I know right now if I open Instagram, Instagram's going to show me, they're going to show me Instagram reels, whether I like it or not. Like that's what they're going to show me. And that's what they're doing to everybody else too. So if you can create those videos and eventually get on like the discover page, that is like, there will be people who find you everywhere in that way. So I would spend some time doing some Instagram reels for sure. They're going to show that to a lot more people. I am not a fan of the follow unfollow method. People kind of get weird about that. They know like they're onto you. They know that. I would focus more on like genuine engagement. So one thing that I like to use, and I wonder if I can show you guys, is the geotags on Instagram. So let's just say, what part of Little Rock do you work in, Jade? Like downtown, or are you?
Yeah, majority downtown. You can,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say that we look at, let's say this. Maybe you want to find brides, right? Where do people get engaged in Little Rock, for example? They're at like Pinnacle Mountain or Old Mill, or I'm not an Arkansas native, so I'm only saying what I know. But think about where people get engaged, right? You can search that location on Instagram and pull up whatever recent photos have been there. If you find a photo, you don't even have to know these people, but if you find a photo of somebody that's just gotten engaged or they've just posted engagement photos, or you can just even look for people that are, downtown that have their location tagged as downtown, you can comment on those photos very genuinely. You don't have to be like, cool photo with like your thumbs up. But if they say they went to Camp Taco, but you happen to know, scrolling through their feed, that this person just got engaged too, you can comment very genuinely, hey, saw that you went to Camp Taco, haven't been yet, like looks great. Something like that, or like, what did you get? You can comment something very conversationally. What may end up happening is that person will see that comment and be like, who is Jade? And they're gonna click on your profile and then they're gonna see like your beautiful work and they're gonna be like, I need to book her for my bridals, or like, I've got engagements coming up, I need to book her.
Sure.
So you're kind of giving people a way to find you without like invading their space and like following them and then unfollowing them. So I would use location, like the geolocation on Instagram. Like it's a really powerful way to find people who are in your location that you want to find, like that you want to see, and
Sure.
then like, leave genuine comments and kind of engage with them there, and then give them the chance to click on your profile and then fall in love with you, and then you didn't really have to do anything.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Guys, we are just asking any other questions that y'all have. I am recording this part of the session too, that we'll send out afterwards. But if you have questions, you can write it in the chat. You can unmute yourself. Yeah. We were just talking about videos, short form videos, how to grow Instagram following. Any social media questions are welcome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I was looking at kind of redoing my content marketing strategy, and I was going to start with a YouTube video and then repurpose that YouTube video. How do you feel about that method?
I think that absolutely is a way to work smarter, not harder. If you're going to sit down and like film a YouTube video, which is no small feat, like that takes like time and preparation, you can absolutely use little clips of those. Let's just say when you record a 5-minute video, you could take 30-second clips of those and repurpose those for Facebook and use them there too.
Okay.
I
I just feel like I was doing the same thing because I was preparing for like IG lives, Facebook lives, and I'm writing out scripts and everything, but that was it. So I'm like, I'm putting the same amount of energy to do the live. I might as well just put it on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah, that's a great point. What business are you in?
Financial coaching.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Man, there's so much good content there. That's actually a great strategy if you know that you have good content, but you don't want to spend a lot of time to create it. You could record that long video, and then especially if you already have it scripted, you can pull out those little nuggets of information and turn those into graphics, turn that into copy on like just photos that you post, and then also like repurpose into smaller videos and stuff. Yeah, it's a great way.
Okay.
I don't know much about YouTube SEO though, like how to like get rankings on YouTube. I know there are people who specialize in that. I'm not one of those. But YouTube's still like one of the most popular platforms, so I say go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other questions? Oh man, apps for Android. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure. I'm not super familiar with Androids. I know that there is, I believe it's available on both. It is called So obviously there's like Lightroom. People can use that to like edit photos and stuff. That's great. It's good. There's also one called Snapseed, Snapseed. Snapseed is maybe on Android, but it's also really good too for just like basic editing. You can just adjust some of the lighting and the positions of the photos and everything. Okay, yeah. And then Les said CapCut. CapCut is on Android. I need to remember that. Thank you for asking that, Jamie. I need to get up to date on my Android apps. Okay. All right, any other questions? Well, I know that when we registered for tickets on Eventbrite, we did have y'all's email. So what we'll do is email out this, the presentation. We'll also email out this part 2, Q&A. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to email me. I will do my best just to make sure we can answer your questions. And then hopefully we can have another workshop in the future with the Economic Development Commission, and it will be a little bit longer. We will not get kicked out this time. It'll go a little bit smoother, and we'll still have some good information for you guys. Okay, thank you guys so much for having me. I can't wait to see, hear if anybody implements any of these practices and it helps to grow your business. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope I get to see y'all again soon. Y'all have a great day.